And this episode was brought to you by DRAFTKINGS Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook and app. Not only is it safe, but it is secure, and most importantly, Deke, it is reliable. And for all those first-time users out there, because we all were first-time users at one point in our life, if you use the promo code MOATS, that's a simple code, right, MOATS?
Yeah, easy to remember.
Can't forget that. If you use the promo code MOATS, though, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, stop wasting time. Let them know that they need to download the app and use the promo code.
Me? You want me to do it?
Yeah, let them know.
You're the more enthusiastic person.
Just tell them, say you download it.
Come on, guys. Download it.
You heard the man. Download the app, use the promo code, and get an opportunity to make a little money. Now, with JuJu, I think it's cut and dry with JuJu. If JuJu wants to get the most money that he can make, he's going to leave. He's going to hit the market. And that's that. It's going to be a team out here with a lot of money that will overpay him. And I do think it's overpaying him. I think he's a high-end number 2, but I don't think he is a number 1. I don't think he's a franchise number 1, but there will be teams out here with a ton of money that will pay him like that. If he stays in Pittsburgh, they won't pay him to that level. They'll pay him good, and they'll pay him a good amount of money. It'll be respectable. It's not going to be nothing to bulk at, but it's not going to be what he could truly get on the open market. So that's going to be the decision that JuJu's they're going to have to make. The organization, they're not in control of that.
We could make it work if he's willing to take the so-called hometown
Exactly,
discount.
but it's going to be up to him in that regard, because for a fact, the play that he's had this year, granted, at times, like I said, it looked really good, and then at times it kind of was down.
Like yesterday, like you see some of these combat catchers,
right?
Like, holy hell! Like I don't know who else is making these plays.
Like sometimes, like and that's the thing with him. He's such a lightning rod in terms of what do you view him as? Because if you look at his body of work for 4 years, it's number 1 receiver productivity. But when you look at his body of work minus AB, it has been very bad at times. This year was a lot better. Obviously, you had Ben back out there and some other help at receivers, but people can still debate if he was the number 1 guy this year. So that's why when you're talking about how you want to pay him, it's harder to, if you're Pittsburgh, is he a number 1? Is he a number 2? What is he to you guys? To other teams, like I said, other teams, they're going to have the decisions made. I think he's a number 2. I'm not paying him more than that. But you're going to get a team that has a plethora of money, and they might have a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on a rookie deal, and they're saying, well, look, man, let's get him a piece. You know what? We can overpay this guy. Pay him, bring him in here, even though it's probably a couple mil too much. You know, we'll take it. It can help us for right now. Depends on what he's looking for. Honestly, I've seen guys go both ways. We've seen, and I think about Pittsburgh receivers. We've seen Pittsburgh receivers that decided to take that money, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. We've seen guys that say, hey, I'll take less and stay, and how that thing has played out. I was one of the guys, even as a defender, that took less to stay because I felt like the opportunity was better. I felt like not only would I make more money in the long run, but I would just have more success.
You were thinking about this podcast, dude.
That was it. I said, man, I haven't met Deke yet. But listen, pregnant wife, I don't care about what you're talking about. I'm going to stay because of Deke.
There's going to be some random dude in Pittsburgh. I don't know what's going to happen.
He's going to slouch all the time, show taco meat, and he's going to have one eyebrow for a couple of episodes. But he's the guy. So that was the real decision behind it. But a lot of us, you make those decisions, man. And you've heard, and honestly, I've talked to guys like William Gay, Will Allen, guys who were here, left to get paid, and then came back. And same concept. We're like, bro, it's different when you leave, man. It's not always, green grass over there. So
yeah, that's actually it's a weird thing because JuJu is very much into the social media and all that type of stuff. I do think being in Pittsburgh helps that a little bit. I do a little bit. You say
that, but to me, I'm looking like if he goes to the Rams, if he goes to the Chargers,
okay,
you got
LA.
the USC connection.
Yeah, depending on what team you go to,
right? Like to me, I'm like,
but like, are they going to be
Miami's?
I'm thinking the type of team that's going to be
the Chargers could, because think about this: Herbert's on a rookie deal.
Okay, because I'm just thinking the type of team that's going to pay him is like the Jets or the Jaguars or some type of shitty team.
Yeah, so what are the Chargers right now?
Yeah, but you're right. The LA market. I guess it depends on the team. Like if it's the Cowboys or something like that, but they don't need a receiver. But yeah.
Because
maybe there's 5 other teams.
Right, I don't feel like Rams, because he would be what Robert Woods is there. Robert Woods is their high end number 2. Love Robert. That's my guy. I had him as a rookie in Buffalo. Same concept though. A high end number 2. Not a number 1 receiver by himself. If he's out there by himself, he's going to struggle. His numbers are better when he's out there with Cooper Kupp and he has the full gamut around him. Similar situation with JuJu. So that's why I don't think the Rams would necessarily be the ones to pay him like that. But a team like the Chargers Come on, man. They got a rookie quarterback. They're going to also be trying to find ways to drum up interest because they're the little brother of the LA market. I mean, you think about the Rams, you got the Lakers, the Clippers, the Dodgers, all these other teams out there. What would get them talked about? You got the young quarterback, and then you bring in the USC kid, JuJu, that everybody loves.
Wow.
Not saying that it's going to happen, but you could just see right there that's how a rumor gets started. JuJu's linked to the Chargers. But that's how something like that can happen. And for JuJu, imagine if the numbers are the same, right? If Pittsburgh's paying them and they're saying, hey, we'll give them 10 a year, and the Chargers like, we'll give you 10 a year, we'll give you 9 a year, but you're going to be in LA with all these other things for you. He might say, well, you know what? I like that opportunity better. Let me do that. So that's why for him, I think it's that cut and dry. If he wants the most money, he will leave. But if he wants to stay here, obviously he's going to have to take less. But that's going to be his personal decision. And I'm not faulting him either way. I think whatever he chooses is going to be the right decision for him and his family. And that's ultimately how it has to be. Obviously, we're biased. We would love for him to stay here because we saw how he helps. He's impactful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I probably have him as the 2 or 3 receiver, but you could tell just like, man, he fits in the offense. Yes. He just fits into what we're doing now.
And in gotta have his situations. Ben isn't looking at Deontay. Ben isn't looking at Claypool. Gotta have his situations.
You see some of those sketches yesterday.
JuJu. He looks to JuJu. Absolutely.
Yeah, the question is, like, can his production be replaced by Washington? Maybe a rookie that we bring in or something like that.
And then Washington obviously played well in his little opportunities yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing. Are you willing to pay JuJu X amount? I don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be 7 or 8?
But that's why when I said that if you're the Steelers, you're not going to overpay him.
No.
You don't have to because you have the full gamut. You have Deontay, who we feel, I mean, if he could just mentally stay out his own way, he could be a bona fide number 1. You got Claypool, who just give him opportunities. He showed last night he could be a bona fide number 1. James Washington, the forgotten one.
He could be like JuJu.
We already said that. We talked about him how many weeks ago? We said, man, James Washington needs more opportunities.
Just maybe a little less physical.
Yeah, but he gets those opportunities. He can ball. So if you're the Steelers, and this is before you even draft another receiver, which you've hit on 3 straight drafts now when it comes to receivers, right? You keep hitting.
Just the guy to come in 600, 700 yards, maybe.
Bro, you never know. Like, man, we're not tripping. We can get another guy to do that. So that's why, like I said, it's really going to just fall on what JuJu wants to do. But the Steelers are not going to offer him true market value. It'll be competitive, but it's not going to be true market value or above market value. So you just have to decide. And like I said, that's player and his family deciding on that, because it's a different conversation. When me and my wife had that conversation, man, if I would have talked to my mom and dad, they're telling me, man, what are you thinking taking less to stay in Pittsburgh? They didn't draft you. Go down here to Atlanta where you're going to get the buku bread, where you know, hey, that number rising up. The only reason the number is where it's at right now is because Atlanta came into the picture. Pittsburgh tried to lowball you. Remember that? So, man, run it up on Atlanta, get paid, and you good. Wifey's like, nah, man, play the long game, man. You know everything is set up for you. You've had success. Y'all went to the plus for the first time, won a division for your first time. You're part of a young core right here. You could be a part of something awesome here. We flirted with it. We got close multiple times. Never could get to that confetti, but it worked out. And then obviously you saw in that same 4-year span for Atlanta, man, it wasn't the same for me. Now, granted, they had 1 year.
You'd have been at the Super Bowl.
Well, this is the thing. So I laughed because funny thing was one of the players that they ended up signing, that when I decided not to sign, they ended up signing. And I'm looking, I was like, well, he got a chance to go to Super Bowl, and that was awesome. And I said, literally in 2 years, he was cut. Because of after the Super Bowl, remember how everything played out for them and how it was downhill. And now I'm looking at that roster compared to 14, 15 when I had that opportunity. I'm like, man, that would have been a disaster. The money would have been great up front, but I would have never saw the rest of that money because they went and did the mass rehaul. When they got rid of guys, they said, oh, no, we just blow it up. Y'all part of the old regime. So hindsight, I was like, man, it worked out even better. But those are the conversations and the decisions that are going to have to be made. It's not easy. Because when you talk about these type of numbers, you talk about changing your life financially, or it should be changing your life financially. If you do it right, it should be. We know, obviously, not everybody does it right. People do go broke with this thing. But if you do it right, man, this is a big opportunity for you. So you never know how many chances you're going to get. Obviously, Shazier is the prime example, right? He was in line for that, never got that opportunity. So it's very significant in terms of that decision. And that's why if you're JuJu, man, you don't want to rush this thing, man. You take your time. Think about that thing. Have a couple of meals. You know what I'm saying? Eat a little bit. Relax. Woosah. Take a trip somewhere. And then like let that thing come into you, because it's a big time decision, man. Whatever you do, it's going to affect you. It could affect your career. Realistically, for JuJu at this point right now, it could affect him, man.